I used to think life was just a series of gray mornings. Wake up to the hum of traffic, drink cold coffee, stare at the window where the sky always looked like wet concrete. I lived in a city where even dreams felt tired. Everything was the same: faces, buildings, even the air. I worked in an office that smelled like printer ink and frustration. My boss didn't know my name, and I didn't blame him. Every lunch break, we joked about running away somewhere warm, but none of us ever did. One evening I stayed late, staring at a blank screen, feeling like I was slowly disappearing. I turned off the lights, stepped outside, and felt the heavy air of the city pressing down. Somewhere in the distance, I heard a train heading south. That night, I opened my laptop and typed, "Work by the Sea, USA." Among hundreds of listings, one caught my eye. Assistant needed at Seaside Workshop. Housing included. Start immediately. Something inside me clicked. I didn't overthink it. I applied. 3 days later, I got a reply. "We'd love to have you here." I printed the email, folded it into my pocket, and whispered to myself, "Tomorrow, my life begins again." I left early in the morning. One suitcase, my passport, and an old guitar, that was all. The road stretched endlessly, and with every passing mile, I felt lighter. Like I was leaving behind a version of me that had already died. When I finally reached the coast, the first sound I heard was the ocean. Not the calm kind you see in movies, it was wild, alive, almost breathing. The air smelled like salt and freedom. A man named George was waiting for me at the dock. He was old, weathered by the sun, with hands that looked like they could bend steel. "Welcome, kid," he said. "Hope you're not afraid of hard work." The workshop sat right next to the water. Wood, paint, the echo of hammers, it all felt strangely familiar, like I'd been meant to end up here. Days blurred together, fixing boats, sanding decks, carrying ropes. But for the first time in years, I didn't feel tired. I felt alive. At night, I sat on the pier watching the horizon fade into gold and thought, maybe this is what freedom sounds like. Months passed. The sea became home. George taught me more than just how to repair boats, he taught me how to listen. "The sea doesn't speak to those who rush," he said. "It rewards patience." Then one evening, a storm rolled in. The wind screamed, waves tore at the docks, and lightning split the sky. An old boat, George's first, broke free from its ropes. Without thinking, I ran into the storm. The rain hit like needles, the water pulled at my legs, but I kept going. I grabbed the rope and held on with everything I had. George shouted for me to come back, but I couldn't let go. We saved the boat, but the workshop was nearly destroyed. When it was over, I sat on the beach, soaked and shaking. George came over, put his hand on my shoulder, and said quietly, "You've got the sea in your blood now. You're one of us." And I realized something: life can be taken away in an instant. But if you live without passion, it's like you never lived at all. A year later, the workshop was rebuilt, stronger than before. Tourists came by to watch us work. I started teaching young guys how to sand, weld, and patch hulls. George always smiled and said, "Told you, kid. The sea doesn't take you, it adopts you." Sometimes I stand on the same pier where I first arrived. The sunset burns over the water, and I can hear laughter from the ducks. I'm not rich. I'm not famous. But I'm free. The gray city feels like another lifetime. Back there, I was searching for meaning. Here, I found it. Every morning I wake up to the sound of waves instead of traffic. There's no fog, no noise, just light. And when people ask me why I chose this place, I tell them the truth. Because one day I stopped waiting for the right moment and decided to create it.